Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Music and Moonsaults. I am Chris Bourdine, and we're going to do a new album review this week. And it's Music Week here in the channel, putting the music back into Music and Moonsaults this week. So I got this dropping today, and then this Friday, where normally Chris and Matt's Wrestling Pod would be, we're gonna have Chris and Matt's Justin Timberlake pod, I guess, where he and I are my wrestling co-host, and I are going to build our own ultimate 2020 experience albums as we celebrate the 10-year anniversary of parts 1 and 2 of the 2020 experience by Justin Timberlake. But today, we're talking about something completely different than Justin Timberlake. It is the sophomore release from Mammoth WVH, of course, led by completely on the studio recordings at least, Mr. Wolfgang Van Halen, and his first album was one of the very first few album reviews I did back in 2021. And I really love that one. And spoiler alert, I really love this album too. We're going to get into it. Before we do that, please leave a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to the channel, please. And leave a comment, and you can tell me what you think of the album, because I think it's freaking great, for sure. But yeah, I loved the debut for Mammoth. It was like, oh, this is gonna be one of my new bands. Like, this is, as much as I'm kind of down on the current rock scene there, I don't know what it was. There's something, the musicianship, his voice, which I'll get into a couple different occasions as I kind of talk about each song here briefly, but his voice is just incredible. It's one of the things that I was most taken aback by in the first album. Like, I wasn't expecting it. But even when you're expecting it now on the second time, there's still moments where he just hits you, and I'm just in awe. The dude is super talented, and I wish all the people who are constantly trolling him and giving him shit online, just for the simple fact that he's Eddie Van Halen's son, need a new hobby, because it's clear that they haven't listened to the music, because if they had, they would be just as impressed. So yeah, this album came out this past Friday on August 4th. He released like 4 songs before. I mean, the fourth song he released like 2 days before the album came out. But yeah, he released 4 songs beforehand, and each one was great and got you amped up, ready for. I couldn't wait for this, man. This was one of the things I was looking forward to most this year, is this album. And now that it's here, I can definitely say it did not disappoint. Again, as big of a fan of the first album as I was, I feel like this album blows that one out of the water. And believe me, that's saying something. Because it's just, he just took it up not just one notch. He took it up 5 notches on this one. I feel like. Yeah. So here's I did go ahead and pre-order the vinyl. So here's that. There's a nice little. It's just a one disc LP. There is a nice though gatefold. There. Pretty cool photo of Wolfgang there. And I just got the standard edition vinyl. The jacket has all the lyrics on it. which I'm sure I'll refer to here. And then, here's the back cover there with the number 2 for Mammoth 2. And yeah, all songs written and performed by Wolfgang Van Halen, except for Wah Operation on I'm All Right solo by Patrick Uncle Pat Bertinelli. I'll get into that. We'll get into that. It's a funny story about that with me. But yeah. So yeah, the album kicks off just in your face. Right off the bat with a song called Right. Very much in the same vein as the first record, starting off with Mr. Ed. This is just a in your face rocker here. Really good way to kick off the record. The second track, Like a Pastime, that was the second song he released. And when that one came out, I don't know why. Maybe it's because the first song he released, which is actually the next song on the album, I love that one so much. This one it's Like a Pastime's a little more mid-tempo rock. But I didn't listen to that one nearly as much as I listened to the first and third songs that he released prior to the album coming out. And I don't know why, but listening to the album multiple times since Friday. I mean, we're talking in the double digits here. I really enjoy the song now as it kind of flows with the rest of the album. So I do really like that song a lot. But the first song he released, Another Celebration at the End of the World, track 3. This is just, when I heard this, 6 months ago or whatever it was when he released this song, it was like, oh my gosh, this album's going to be great. Just a great rock song. The video, if you haven't seen the video for this song, check it out. It's really funny. It starts out with there's a bunch of wolves, Wolfgangs, and they're all part of the band. And Main Wolf is trying to teach lead guitar Wolf the solo for Another Celebration, and he's not getting it. And so Wolfgang goes on and he encounters the members of his live band out in the world, and he brings them in and teaches them the song, and they're playing it. So he ends up firing all the rest of him, all the other different versions of him, and then that gets paid off in a later video for a different song here. But it's great stuff. It's long because there's a lot of table setting, but it's worth your time. It and the follow up that we'll talk about here in a second is well worth your time. Yeah. So, but yeah, Another Celebration in the World is just a straight rock. Just like I said, just awesome kick-ass rock song. And then track 4, Miles Above Me. This is a little more, I mean, there's nothing on here that's really pop, but this one's a little bit more, I don't know, radio friendly. I don't even know how I would describe it, but it's not quite as heavy as some of the other stuff on it. I guess we'll put it that way, but it's a good song. And then side A ends with the third single, Take a Bow, and this is my favorite song on the album by far. This is the song that the solo, it came out when the song came out, that this is the solo that he used Eddie's original Frankenstrat on, and I think his guitar rig and all that stuff. He used all of Eddie's stuff on this song. And this solo is, there's a cliche or a saying that I've heard off and on through the years about guitar solos, and it's like the best guitar solos are songs within a song, and this is that. Like this guitar solo is it's a quite a long one, but that's okay because it's worth it because it builds and builds and builds and builds, and then he starts doing all the tricks, the tapping, all of it. And it fits so well with the song, but it's like I said, it's its own song within the song. And by the end of it, when he's finished, you're just like, oh my God, that was amazing. And then to top it off, low key, my favorite part of the solo, it's not even really part of the solo, but my favorite part of the song is it's a very minor thing, but it makes, without it, I think if I heard it with like a mix without it, I think I would miss it, even though it's not that big of a part. After the solo, he comes back in with the chorus, sings the first line of the chorus. All the music drops out, and he sings the first line of the chorus. And then right before he starts singing the second line, and the rest of the band comes in, there's a it's not a dive bomb because it's going up, but it's a single note, and I believe, because I'm not a guitar player, I believe what he does is he hits the note and then he's pulling up on the whammy bar. But it's like a little squeal type thing. It's like an ascending, it's like a dive bomb, but instead of going down, it's going up. That's the best way to describe it. I don't know. But it's so perfect to signify, like, okay, here comes the rest of the band back in. We're going to finish the song now. I love it. Like, it's one of those subtle things that is just mwah, to me. So yeah, that's my favorite song on the album. It's a slower song. But you know, my favorite song on the first record was Resolve. So there's precedence for that. As much as I love the heavy, hard-hitting stuff, because again, he sings with such power and emotion, and a lot of people can sing with power or emotion, but he's able to put those two things together in a way that not a lot of people can do very well, at least in my opinion, and it's just fantastic. I love it. So yeah, that was all of side A. Side B begins with Optimist. This one sounds like, and it kind of makes sense because he's friends with them. He just toured with them earlier this year. It really sounds a lot like Alter Bridge to me. Like I could definitely hear, Miles Kennedy singing this song for sure. Especially the way the first verse he sings in a lower register, and then after the first chorus into the second verse, he sings, up higher. Very reminiscent to me of Alter Bridge. Kind of a funky drum pattern and time signature too. Just it's a good song, good way to kick off side B of the album. But I definitely got major Alter Bridge vibes from this song. I'm Alright is the fourth song that he released. Like I said, he released this one like two or 3 days before the album came out, and this is the video that ties into Another Celebration at the End of the World, because now he's got his new band and he's teaching them this new song, and like all the other Wolfies are in a room next door or something, and they can hear him, and so they're like listening and learning the song themselves. And there's a big battle of the bands coming up, and they sabotage everyone's, like I think they steal Wolfgang's keys and nail his front door shut. They unplug the drummer's alarm clock. They flatten all of the bass player's tires. Like they do everything they can to make sure that Mammoth WVH doesn't make it to the Battle of the Bands, so that Mammoth WWW can make it to the Battle of the Bands and win. It's just so ridiculous, but so funny as well. I loved it, especially because like a little Easter egg, like Wolfgang's mom, Valerie Bertinelli, is in the video. She's the lady at the window, checking all the bands in, and then seeing the listed names for some of the bands, like Peep Durple, is it was just really funny. Gave me a good chuckle. But this is the song, like I said, that we're, and I got had, like I'll admit, this is why when you see a headline, you make sure you read the article too, so you don't make assumptions. I saw when this song was released, I saw a couple different headlines that said Eddie's uncle works the wah pedal during the solo on this song. So immediately, I, I didn't know Valerie, or if I did know, like I didn't remember Valerie Bertinelli had an uncle, or that he was part of like the team. He does. Let's see here. What else does he do? Oh, the art design. So like he's part of the team here, making the whole thing go. I didn't know that. I just think I see Wolfgang Van Halen. I see his uncle. I immediately think it's Alex Van Halen. And I think I might have even told my brother this on the phone. I'm like, oh, dude, Alex Van Halen worked the wah pedal. And then I go read the article later, and it's actually Uncle Pat. So, yeah, make sure you read the article, people. So you don't make yourself look like an idiot like me. I really like this song a lot. It's my second or third. If I had to rank them, I'd say it's probably Take a Bow was first, and then Another Celebration and I'm Alright are kind of battling it out for second and third position. I think right now maybe I'm Alright is maybe taken. I think it's taken over. My favorite part of this song, though, again, one of those subtle things during the verses, and I had to make sure, like I listened to it a few different times to make sure. There's a, and it's a trick. A lot of Kiss, how I gotta bring everything back around to Kiss at some point. Kiss has used this a couple different times. The studio version of Nothing to Lose. And also Christine 16. There's just a single on the piano, the ding 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 ding, following the chord. Same thing here. Just the same piano chord playing all throughout the verses. It's a little deeper in the mix, but it's definitely, if you're listening, you can definitely hear it. And I just love that little touch again. Something small and subtle that just kind of just makes the song for me. And yeah, the other thing too that I thought was kind of cool, and I don't know if this was intentional, if this is why he connected the two videos in this way, but in the in Another Celebration, right before the solo, he's saying, "Hey now, shout it back to me, let me breathe." And then the I'm Alright, the chorus goes, it's kind of you to say F off and back away and let me breathe. So, yeah, I don't know what, whether that's intentional, whether that is what made him link those videos that way or what, but I think it's cool. Erase Me is number 8. This one is if I had to pick one that I'm like, that's not really my favorite, I guess Erase Me would be it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, to me, not up to the standard with the rest of the album. And honestly, as I'm sitting here talking about this album, as many times, like I said, I've listened to this album somewhere in the double digits. Somewhere between 10 and 15 times since Friday. I'm having the hardest time like placing that song. So I don't know if that means anything or not, but to me, this is the one where it's kind of like, it's not necessarily. I wouldn't say I'm to the point where I'm skipping it, because I'm not. I'm not skipping any of these songs, but it's definitely the one where I'm like, oh, okay, it's this song now. So maybe it's a pee break song where if I've got the vinyl on, I'm listening to it. I don't want to pause it or anything, but I gotta run and go pee real quick. That might be during that song that I might do that. Waiting, track 9, second to last song on the album. This is the maybe the ballad, I guess, of the album, unless you consider "Take a Bow" a ballad. But yeah, it's a beautiful song. It's one of those, and I hate doing this with like I hated. I don't know. Hate's a strong word. It makes me uncomfortable when it's someone that has lost someone, especially because it felt like that, obviously distance, which I found out this week in an interview with Chris Jericho, that distance was written years before Eddie actually like, I guess Eddie had a scare, and so he wrote it then, and so he kind of like had this song already written about what it was going to be like when his dad passed away, but it was years before his dad actually passed away, which is kind of freaky when you think about it. But the Foo Fighters album, this year it was kind of hard not to think about what songs were about Taylor and what songs were about Dave's mom. And this is kind of the same. This song here, just listening to the lyrics. He says, "I'll be waiting for you. Can we stay here just a while, embracing this denial?" And then he says, "Just wake me up, because I don't want to dream too long. I don't think I'll ever know the way to go without you." And in the chorus is, "I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you. I'm sorry I can't stay." So yeah, I don't know who this is about. You can make assumptions, but it's a beautiful song, and definitely it's the ballad, like I said, of the album. And then we ended with another good rocker, "Better Than You." The wrestling fan of me is like, I need to see a video package for MJF using this song, just because it's called "Better Than You." But it's a great way to end the album. I think it's a good album closer. So yeah, like I said, if I go any longer, I'll just keep repeating myself. But I said it on X or Twitter or whatever. I still call it Twitter because I'm resistant to change. But for me, this is just me personally, it might be hyperbole, and it's way too early for this, but this is my album of the decade so far. Like this, I cannot tell you how much I love this album. So I hope you will love it just as much as I do. At the very least, I hope if you haven't listened to it, you will go out of your way and give it a spin. It's not that long of an album. Let me see here. Let me give you the 10 songs, 48 minutes, and 12 seconds. So, less than an hour here. And it's worth every second of those 48 minutes and 12 seconds. At least in my opinion. So yeah, go give that a listen. If you get a chance, see them live. His live band is incredible. And of course, Wolfgang is incredible too. They're coming. They're opening for Metallica in November at Ford Field. And then he's doing a run of shows with Nita Strauss, which is awesome. Kind of around the dates of that Metallica tour. He's going to be in Grand Rapids, which is a little bit of a drive for me, especially in November when you're not sure what the weather is going to be like. But it might be one of those little things where I'm like, you know what? I think I need to go. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm hoping to catch him. But if not, I definitely, hopefully it won't be too long till he comes back around again, and I can catch him because he's incredible. They're incredible, and yeah. So check it out. Like I said, leave a thumbs up on this video and subscribe, please. Thanks. And tune in Friday, like I said, for the ultimate 2020 experience with Matt and I. Until next time, see ya.